Update, I got cheated on, but I already expected it. Original post. I, 26 male, was dating a girl, 25 female, from my university. At first, she was caring and loving, and it all went great during 6 months into the relationship until my finals showed up. That's when everything went to crap. Having my finals meant spending more time studying and preparing myself in certain classes that I was having a tough time in. And with the more time I spent studying, I spent less time with her. At first, when I had that talk with her, she seemed to understand, considering I'm pursuing a chemistry engineering major while she's aiming for a hospitality management degree. And according to her, she was going after a much easier degree and she didn't mind. So we stopped seeing each other for about a week and a half. We would text occasionally during that time, but not as much as we used to. One night that I was finishing up some of the work that I needed to get done, she texted me talking about this one friend that she had. For privacy, I'll call him Brian. Brian, according to her, is a good friend and generally a good guy. He's pretty much an extrovert with a wide social circle, while I'm a total opposite, being an introvert with a closed social group of people who I call friends, and the rest of the people that I know were more acquaintances. After my finals, we spent more time together, but it was always Brian this, Brian that. So at first I thought it was weird, but it got to the point where I was fed up. So one day as a joke, I said, "What do you want to do, date him, or why are you always talking about him?" You can guess she didn't take it as a joke and instead acted offended, even implying that I was accusing her of cheating. That's when all the dots started to connect. If there isn't something going on, then why was she suddenly all defensive and upset? But I guess I decided to wait to get the actual proof. Week after week, she would cancel the plans at the last minute if I was lucky. She stood me up on my birthday since we were supposed to meet at a restaurant along with my dad to celebrate. Even my roommate at the time asked me if I was okay. She saw me upset a lot of those times and even talked to me. After a few months, one day, I told my ex to meet at a coffee shop. Prior to that, during the whole week, I behaved like an a-hole. I was already mentally preparing myself to pull away from that relationship. When she got to the coffee shop, she tried to give me a kiss, but I just pulled away. She asked what was wrong, and I just said I already know. It was a thing my dad would always say to me when I was hiding something, and it worked well to make people say the truth. As soon as I said I already know, she saw my face dead serious. She looked down and said, "Who told you? Was it Kev?" Kev is my closest friend, and even if he did tell me, I would basically ignore it. So I just said, "Maybe, but I want to hear it from you." And she just started crying and saying how much she was sorry, that she didn't mean to hurt me, and that she had only been seeing Brian for 2 months. I wanted to cry, to yell at her, to be angry, but I couldn't. It's a truth I was already aware of. So I just asked, "How did this happen?" And her story went like, "We were at a party with one of our mutual friends when you had finals, and I was pretty upset because you didn't pay any attention to me, so when Brian saw me upset, he talked with me, and he made me feel safe and loved. Even if you did make me feel safe and loved, it was different and I liked it. After that, we hooked up and later we began seeing each other every weekend." When she said those things, it felt like someone had punched me in the stomach. I felt sick. She tried to apologize and she said that we could make it work, but I've already knew that that was not possible, so I told her to enjoy the last coffee she was going to share with me because it would be the last. I paid for both coffees, and I left, not saying goodbye. That night, I called my dad and talked about it with him. I never asked my dad for any advice in this situation, but he just told me that what's not meant to be will never be, and that it was best not to try to store any negative feelings against her or the guy. So he just quoted his favorite artist saying how beautiful is revenge when God grants it to us. Recently, one of her friends told me that she ended up getting pregnant from Brian with him, refusing to take responsibility from the kid. And she told me that I should be careful since my ex was telling her parents that it was my kid, even though we broke up more than a year ago. Right now, I decided just to go with the flow of life. It took me a while to get over it, but I made it. And well, now I'm dating my former roommate, which is kind of funny. Thank you for reading me. Now for the comments before reading the update. Funny how things turn out, isn't it? In the end, she got nobody and will probably end up yet another single mom working a job she hates and dating scumbags who don't give a damn about her. Good for you on having the integrity and self-respect to get rid of such a toxic person. In the future, never date any woman who has that close guy friend. I agree with that 100%. Women who say, oh, all my friends are guys, and I've never cheated on my boyfriend are all full of shit. She sounds like a hoe if she couldn't deal with less attention for a week and a half without jumping on another guy's dick. But a second concern for you should be her automatically guessing that your friend Kev is the one that told you. You may have more than one traitor in your midst. That is true. I would keep an eye on Kev, that's for sure. Well played, sir. Careful with that accusation of paternity, though. The parents need to know it's not yours so they don't go after you. Good luck. Now for the update. So it's been a few days and I got a call from my ex-father-in-law saying that I was a coward for leaving his daughter pregnant and leaving because she was going to drop out because of me. So I just told him that it was impossible that the kid was mine since we had broken up a while ago. That's when he told me that apparently X was still saying that we were together. So I just said no. The shitstorm didn't stop there, as for yesterday on my morning jog I saw Brian. We looked at each other and he walked up to me. He said that he needed advice from someone who doesn't like him at all because he was afraid of facing the parenthood. So I just told him to face it and be there for his kid because the poor thing didn't have the blame for the circumstances. I would just say, dude, this is your problem. And I woke up today because my car had been vandalized. I managed to get some of the CCTV and well, it's been shit. Way to start the year, I guess. Story 2. Am I the a-hole for reacting wrong to my brother's engagement? Plus update. Original post. Sorry if this is kind of all over the place. So on Sunday, I, 19 female, learned on a Zoom call with my family that my brother Harry, 22 male, has just gotten engaged to just girlfriend Jessica, 20 female. When Harry told us, everyone but me was pretty enthusiastic, but I just kind of sighed and said nothing. Harry didn't display any reaction towards my admittedly lukewarm reaction. But afterwards, my mom called me and told me that I was rude for not being excited. She said that I need to respect all members of the family, including Jessica, and that I need to reconsider my behavior if I wanted to be invited to our vacation in the spring. Harry and I were really close growing up. Since he and then I started college, we've been less close. But him and I still talk every week or two. Harry and Jessica have been together for around 2 years now. Here's where it gets complicated. I knew Jessica back in high school, and she was not what you would call a kind soul. She had a particularly nasty streak. She would not pay attention during class and always tried to cheat off of people's homework. And I assume got away with it. She tried semi-successfully to steal my boyfriend. She bullied one of my best friends, called her fat among other things. This bullying worsened, if not caused altogether, her eating disorder, and it's something that I've never been able to forgive or forget. She is just one of those people who would just mess around with other people's lives like it's a game, and not something she is invested in. About 6 months ago, I had a heart-to-heart with Harry about Jessica. I laid out my concerns and the history of her behavior, hoping it might make him reconsider or at least think deeply about their relationship. He said he'd consider what I said, but didn't continue the conversation much more. Since then, we talk regularly as usual, and things seem normal between us. He didn't talk about Jessica often, but he didn't hide their relationship either. I really was happy it sounded like it might be dying off, though. I had no idea he was getting engaged to her until he announced it. I don't know if he has been telling other people in the family besides me, or if it was really just an abrupt decision. To make it worse, I'm worried that he told Jessica about our conversation 6 months ago. In her announcement on Facebook, annoying ring on hand, photograph in tow, she wrote something like, I know not everyone in our families are supportive, but we have each other, and that's what matters. So he ignored my warning and he told her all about it. Part of me wonders if I should just swallow my feelings for the sake of family harmony. That might be a good idea. But another part of me feels like I'd be betraying an old friend, my own values, and my brother by pretending to be happy about this engagement. And I am bad at holding back my truth. So am I the a-hole for feeling upset and possibly wanting to voice my concerns again, even though it might cause friction in my family? Or should I just keep my feelings to myself and let Harry make his own decisions and mistakes? The bottom line is, your brother can make his own decisions, and you voiced your concerns to him. It's up to him whether or not he wants to listen to you. Just let him know that you're always there for him and give him your love and support. Edit. Okay, thanks for all the responses, people. I will take some advice, talk to my mom, and explain exactly what it is that Jessica has done and try to make her understand. Still, it's his decision. Talk to Harry about our conversation before and find out how much of it he shared with Jessica and how she responded to what I said. Potentially talk to Jessica. Seek therapy. Someday, haha. I'm not really in a position to go no contact with my family. Not worth it. And I still do want them in my life. I might post an update, but it also seems like the rules are kind of strict on that, which is fair. Message me or something if you want to hear what happens. Haha. Now for the updates. Update 1. So a lot of people commented and sent me messages asking for an update to my previous post about my being unenthusiastic reaction to my brother's engagement announcement. Well, here it is. After reading people's replies, it sounds like the predominant opinion was that while I might not have been the a-hole immediately, I would become one if I kept pushing too hard against my brother's relationship. And I really don't want Harry to think that I don't support him or to not talk to me about personal relationship matters. So I pretty much had decided to keep quiet and just go along with whatever Harry wanted. On Tuesday, he messaged me asking if I want to be a bridesmaid in Jessica's wedding party or a groomsmaid in his wedding party. After a little bit of back and forth, it became clear that he asked me because he knew that I wasn't totally keen on Jessica, but he still wanted me involved with the wedding. I was trying to be supportive, so I said it would be great to get to know Jessica better by being a bridesmaid, though I wasn't exactly looking forward to the experience. Good for you. I admit, though, I had a little bit of ulterior motive. From what I know of Jessica, she completely changes how she acts based on who she is around, which is how she manipulated Harry into proposing, of course. I thought that just maybe, if I could show Harry how Jessica acts with her girls, he might reconsider his decision to marry her. Anyway, on Thursday, I got added to a Facebook Messenger chat named Brilliant Bridal Bitch, wherein Jessica laid out her ground rules for being in the bridal party. They are almost verbatim. Participation in my bridal party is not just an honor, it's an investment. Be prepared to spend at least $1,000 on attire and accessories alone. I can make exceptions, but only if you ask me. I alone will dictate the narrative of my wedding on social media. Any premature posts, especially unflattering photos of me, will result in immediate expulsion. Your weight will be monitored weekly. Anyone not fitting into their dress will be kindly asked to step down. This wedding will look picture perfect, and I can't have you ruining the aesthetics. From now until the wedding, I expect you to be on call 24/7. Wedding emergencies are real, and your commitment to solving them will be a true test of your friendship. You will fund and organize a lavish bachelorette party in my honor. Think exotic destination, luxury accommodations, and Instagram-worthy moments. You will have fun, not just for your sake, but for me as well. Upon reading this, I just burst out laughing. Screenshot, click. I think I might be able to convince Harry from marrying Jessica after all. I'm just deciding now if I should play it cool and act like the rules are normal, but bring it up with Harry or maybe show my mother because I know it would make her flip. And almost certainly forgive me for sighing when Harry told us about the engagement. Update 2. Thanks for all the advice and support for my whole situation with my brother getting engaged to an incredibly annoying former bully who has been manipulating him. I'm posting an update since a lot of people asked. I'm going to have to be a bit of a disappointment though. After my last post, a lot of people were suggesting that I should be tricky and go to my mother and ask to borrow money to make the appropriate investment for being in Jessica's bridal party. I thought about that, but realized it would be a little bit too over the top. So instead, I just sent a screenshot of Jessica's rules and a couple of other insane things she posted in the group chat to Harry and asked for his advice, telling him, I know I said that I wanted to join the bridal party to get to know Jessica better, but I'm worried it might not actually be good for me. Do you think I could bail and join your party instead? He called me instead of texting back and definitely sounded pretty surprised by what I showed him. I'm certain that the side of Jessica shown in those rules and other messages, including a new one saying that if your BMI is over 22, you are out of the wedding, and the group chat is not the side of herself that she showed to him. We had a good hour or so of conversation about what things were like between the two of them, and I learned a lot about where he was coming from. From what he told me, it sounds like getting married was really Jessica's idea. She had been going through some tough times later and apparently had struggled with depression in recent years. She always wanted this perfect wedding and perfect married life, and she told him that it would make her feel better and fix all of her issues if he proposed. So Harry, being the good person that he is, did it. He took pity on her even though he didn't really feel ready yet. He says he doesn't regret it though. She has been so much happier since the proposal. He said, and he is no longer worried about her running away or harming herself or worse. That said, he said he was still shocked by what she posted to her girls and said he didn't know what to do next. I told him I'm worried about him and his future if he stays with Jessica and goes through with the marriage. He thanked me and hung up. He still sounded pretty shaken. The next day, he asked me to call him, so I do that. He explains to me that everything was okay and he talked to Jessica about the whole situation. She told him it was just a joke and the kind of thing her friends were using to sending in their messages. Apparently she apologized and that it was her fault for not making sure that I was on her level. Harry's words trying to quote Jessica, FWIW. I'm pretty skeptical of that though. She seemed serious to me. She also seemed serious when she messaged me privately. You are on thin ice. She also sent another message in the main group chat saying, this is all of y'all's reminder that I need your full support and any undermining of my wedding will have serious consequences. So that's where things stand. I told Harry that I don't really believe it was a joke and I believe that Jessica is trying to control him just like she's trying to control her bridesmaids. He just said that he is in a difficult situation. She is stressed out and he trusts her. So that's where things stand. Apparently I'm still in the darn bridal party. Dress stuff is happening in the next week or two. I really thought Harry would get to his senses, but apparently not yet. Now I need to decide what the heck to do next. Update 3. Thanks again for all the support and advice throughout this situation. I'm the girl who is in a messed up situation with my brother who has proposed to his really not good girlfriend who I know from school. And until recently, I was a member of her bridal party. Warning, this is dark and mentions suicide. So the update. I had time at home for spring break, so I finally showed my mom the text messages from Jessica in person, including the insane list of rules for the bridal party and her follow-up message to me saying that I was on thin ice after I told my brother. My mom seriously broke down. She didn't apologize for being mad at me when I wasn't pleased to hear the news from the happy couple, but at least she doesn't seem to hold it against me. Aside from that, though, I am honestly surprised Mom took it as seriously as she did. I thought she would say something more like, well, it's his life, instead of butting in. Anyway, Mom called Harry right away to talk to him. I asked her to put it on speakerphone, and she did after a bit. I think that the combination of my own warnings plus her mom's sheer exasperation at the whole situation finally caused Harry to come to his senses. He heard that Mom had to say, and in that moment I was able to convince him that Jessica wasn't just joking around with her list of rules, especially with the help of the thin ice message. Harry sounded really shaken up and agreed to meet us without bringing Jessica along. We had dinner at her house and discussed everything. To him, it sounds like he was more in love with Jessica 6 months ago than he is today. He said that over the course of more recent times, he's seen Jessica become more and more reliant on his support, and he hasn't felt like there's much he can do except cave in to what she wants. I think that seeing the tone of her communications with people outside the relationship meant him feel like her depression was more of an act than a real thing. I'm not a psychologist, so I can't say how real that is, but I could believe it. Harry and her mom cried for a while and then came up with a plan for Harry to call off the engagement and begin to move out over the next few days. He went home and we stayed in close contact for a while. He told us he was feeling ready and did tell her that he needed to reevaluate some things on his own. Apparently she did not take it well. Harry stopped responding to us for a day and a half and then called me. Jessica had begun saying that she had nothing to live for except for Harry, and that if he abandoned her after all this time, then she would have no reason to keep existing. Harry just cried on the phone and said he felt so trapped. I didn't even know what to tell him. I wish I had told him he needed to forget about Jessica and that she was only playing him, but I don't know if he would believe me anyway. Now, Harry hasn't answered any of my calls and is only giving very short and slow answers to texts from our mom and I. Jessica, meanwhile, made a Facebook post of a picture of her heart with tears on it saying, "If only you knew how much you meant to me, you would never hurt me." She's also posted a lot of nonsense in the Brilliant Bridal bitch-ass group chat and appears to be loving the attention from her friends. I don't know if she forgot I am in there, but she wants me to see her messages and thinks it will make me feel guilty or something. I just need to make sure that Harry is okay. To be honest, I don't really care what happens to Jessica. Sure, it would be best for her to get help, but she has caused so much damage in the lives of people I care about, and I doubt she'll ever stop. Like, honestly, F her. I just want my brother back. Sorry, I'm writing this post all gloomily. So far, to be honest, I think things will be okay. Harry and her mom both know that he needs to end it with Jessica, and now Harry just needs to make that happen. Then we can all laugh together about Jessica's BMI tracking strategy and minimum bridesmaid spend requirement. That's all for today. If you're enjoying this story, please like the video and share your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you.